Rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Tonight, Saturday night, pre-gaming for this game tomorrow, Week 11 battle, quote unquote there. This what should be a destruction against the Carolina Panthers. You see they're looking a little bit Winnie the Pooh-ish there this week. They're Panthers or whatever you want to call them, Tigger. Either way, we got to get some updates on how the rosters kind of changed today for our Cowboys, and also who may play, who may not play.
Yeah,
some updates on injuries,
about
right?
It in the chat, right?
You know, you get some previews there. You see Fehoko, Wilhelmi Fehoko, Junior Fehoko, 4th round draft pick. You're seeing linebacker Rashawn Evans. You're seeing number 23, Rico. Those are going to be guys we talk about tonight, as well as a little bit on our Cowboys offense, mistakes, defense, things we got to start off fast with, and more about this upcoming game against the Carolina Panthers. So
yeah, remember, part of that too is the fact that it is a bit of a short turnaround week afterwards. So, you know, I at least for me, I'm definitely keeping that into consideration when we're talking about who we think is going to play or not, what kind of things we're going to be seeing in this game.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it as we do a Cowboy Quickie. It's a Quickie tonight, guys, with us at MCF. So get your thoughts in, get your knowledge dropped. If you want to drop some love and support for the channel, you can do that ASAP. Either way, let's give the shout-outs to those that rep these boards here with us on the nightly, weekly, monthly, yearly, and 6 years and beyond right now on YouTube on My Cowboys Family. Without further ado, let's shout out the man who's taken over 3 out of the 4 portions of our board, 75% domination, Jason Renfro. Much love to him. He's our sponsor of the week. Actually, not 75%. Now it's 50%. He's the sponsor of the week. Much love to him. And also the gifting membership champion. Yes, much love. He's got half of this board because he had started off with that sponsor of the Stream Boss. As you can see, Mark Hovsepian, who's at 89. Hendershot, we'll talk about him. Now he's at 87. Ferguson, another tight end. Our starting tight end, we'll talk about him. Keys to this win. This we got to get for this win tomorrow. So Mark Hovsepian, much love, representing that Stream Boss. And let's not forget about the man Stanley Smith. He is the man who actually stopped Snug X's 12-week streak. Stanley Smith, the Cash App King. Much love to him. And he's on the board, second place when it comes to the Cash App board. He's also third place on the overall board behind Mark Hovsepian and Snug X, who's currently first place overall. But guess where else Snug X is? He's coming for that crown again, I think. Snug X is the leader currently on the Cash App side of things. So much love to Snug. He's got 50% of the lead this week on the Cash App, the overall board. Mr. Marco Sepian from Hawaii repping that star. He's, of course, got that stream boss with 87 points. And if you look at the gifting leader, you can look right there above us. Skeptical Fan and Jason Renfro battling in first place. 2 apiece. Safety apiece. Who wins that gifting championship? We'll see it tonight, tomorrow. We'll see who wins this thing. Andy and Boogie, of course, on the board, too. Much love to everybody on all these boards. No pre-stream shout-outs. So, baby, outside of the super chats, the thanks button, the gifting memberships, jumping into memberships like the Lunatic last night, back in the star level for months and months and months on end. Baby, what are the other ways people can challenge SnugX and Stanley Smith for that top spot on the Cash App board?
No, you have, of course, the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily. You have the Venmo at my-cowboys-family. The regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link. That lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
And, of course, get the Navy Blue Crew gift, the membership side. Silver level 2, of course, much love to them. Top shelf, star level membership, and then the cream of the crop, the over everything level. We do our nightly shout-outs for those 2 levels.
Yeah, some extra special perks there, Hopefully you'll be seeing Mr. Seabass here again in a few short weeks.
Yeah, and, of course, there's extra perks here for these 2 levels. We're going to talk about it after we do the shout-outs, which they get on the nightly.
Of course, thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potts, Marissa Sparkle, The Lunatic, and Over Everything, Seabass.
Yeah, much love to Seabass and the rest of that's the Over Everything man, and the rest of the crew, which is in the star level membership. And that is extremely important. In less than 24 hours, guys, halftime of tomorrow's game, we have a special raffle hitting. It's a monthly raffle we do here. It's only for the top shelf memberships. The star level and the over everything level. Those people we just read out, they're currently the only people involved in the membership tomorrow. I think a 1 out of 8 chance. 1 out of 8 chance, 1 out of 9 chance to win a jersey. Yes, boom, star level, over everything level membership. Much love to this crew, both of these membership groups. Every month, we do a sewn and stitched jersey raffle. Your choice of about 30 different players, to be honest with you guys. Styles, sizes, the whole thing. New players, old players, Hall of Famers, whatever. We got them. Much love to Cowboys Mosh. And that's the big raffle tomorrow at halftime of this Cowboys at Carolina, at the Panthers game tomorrow here on the early slate of games. The afternoon games, you can say, early afternoon. So star level, halftime, we'll have a winner. And much love to the whole crew. Good luck to all. And hey, you guys in the memberships can the last chance to move up to the star level or over everything. First chance the last chance to jump in those levels if you're not in any level. Just make sure everyone got the heads up for that. Much love and go Cowboys. Now, baby, as we kick it off tonight, let's do the shout outs in the house before we get to the Cowboy news info and quick, information that we got to talk about here for our beloved team. Pre-gaming.
Shout out to Rolando Rodriguez in the house. Of course, the man himself, Seabass. Stephen White, hello and hi. Cactus G in the place to be. Fuego bringing the heat. Jason Renfro, of course, the membership king, sponsor of the week. You got Scorpio representing House Nelson in the house. He never missed again. William Burney, much love to you. Mike Aldana representing, saying Rico better roll the tape, tape those ankles. Show up tomorrow. We'll have to see. I'll go ahead and let you guys in the chat place your bets. GMG, what's up? Let's see who else is here. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Motor City Maniac, hello and hi. Demetrius Alexander, hopefully the Winers and the Sheagles lose this week,
we gotta wait for Monday for the Eagles and Chiefs to play.
808 Cowboy Legion.
Yeah.
Let me see. Just trying to go all the way back down. Stephen White, what's up? I think I shouted you out. Skeptical Fan.
Ooh,
he just dropped a $3 Streamlabs holler saying 31-10 Cowboys.
That's his prediction, 31-10. I cannot stand to admit that maybe it might go double digits. It might go to 10 points this game.
I mean, I think I even said I predicted something like 12 or more than 10 points.
Yeah, because we'll have to bench our guys and they might get a lucky touchdown.
Yeah, so honestly, I could even see it being something not in a good way, just saying even as high as 17 depending on how early we bench some of our starters. Although overall, we do tend to play our defensive starters a little bit longer than our offensive ones. So maybe that goes more towards that 31-10 score, right? But over 30 points has to be the baseline.
Skeptical, dropping his skeptical drop. His skeptical thoughts are being dropped. Hey, I like that a lot. I think we should score more and probably hold them to less. But you know how the Cowboys sometimes do. And these games were favored by 11, 12 points.
Be Reals, what's up? Akeem Sears, much love. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the Cowboy news and things we have to talk about. Because, yeah, it is a little funky that a walkthrough has resulted in so much, so many situations for our Cowboys, right? Like, you're just supposed to be walking.
Now, hey, here's the deal. We know the walkthroughs for the Cowboys are usually a little more rough than other teams' walkthroughs. But either way, guys.
Especially Tyron Smith out there punching people and shit.
I do want to say, always these walkthroughs before they get on the plane. We'll talk about that in a minute. I just want to say some outside Cowboy news. Not even outside, just NFL / it's Cowboy news. Former Cowboy tight end great Jason Witten. Pretty cool thing that went down we saw here. He's been coaching. High school football. He's
retired from the NFL. Yeah. He's been coaching his son's football team.
He's in his third year of coaching Texas high school football. Scorpio, with his membership comment of the month for 5 months, rocking that spot. Much love to Scorpio. What did he say?
We are going to spay and neuter them Panthers. Go Cowboys.
Damn right.
Yeah, they will not be able to produce a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they'll be unable to produce
or a victory, specifically.
Yeah, forget the Super Bowl. That's been aborted, if you know what I mean. So, again, much love, Scorpio, and go Cowboys. That should be what happens. It should be an easy nut cut tomorrow. So, Jason Witten, third year of coaching Texas high school football, took his son's team, all right, that he's coaching from a 2-8 record in year one.
So that's how he inherited them, basically.
Yeah, 2-8. He got, it's not a good team there. They were 2-8 when he first coached. Then the next year he was 10-2. That was a year 2 record. Now in year 3 he's 11-0, and in the quarterfinals of the Tapas D2 playoffs. So congrats to him, guy, doing a great job coaching his own sons. Cooper Witten, who's a freshman, 6'1", 190.
Jesus.
And yeah, he's a freshman defensive back. So 53 tackles, 3 blocked field goals, 2 interceptions. Pretty good out there. Then you got the other Witten son, the little older one there, junior linebacker. 6'1", 215, leads the team in tackles and sacks. So
some big boys.
Yeah, Jason Witten doing a damn good job out there trying to get that state title. So good luck to him. And I'm sure we'll find out in a day or two next week. Who knows what the results of that is. So congrats to Jason Witten. Now, on to our current Cowboys. And let's just get right to it. What's going on with our roster movement situation, injury updates? Well, unfortunately, guys,
What's percolating?
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to make room for an injured running back now, or tweaked running back. Maybe it's because of this whole, Joe Burrow situation. But the Cowboys today, who had Rico Dowdle practicing all week with the ankle, all right, didn't seem to have any setbacks. Rico Dowdle, a running back who is, after being full pretty much all week, this past week, was listed with no game status situation there. There was no fear of him not being able to play. Of course, there's a walkthrough today. And after the walkthrough, Cowboys downgraded Rico Dowdle from having no issue at all there for the game tomorrow to now questionable for this football game against the Panthers tomorrow, which is a game that I wanted to see a lot more Rico Dowdle. I thought we'd get to see a lot more. That's definitely put on the back burner for now. Even if he does play, he
obviously won't be featured as much as he was about to.
He's not going to play as much unless there's some kind of thing, just covering their asses kind of thing for the injury report. But Rico Dowdle, all of a sudden now questionable. The only player listed on our injury report. Of course, we could never have a full week of just no injuries. So Rico Dowdle now questionable for the game tomorrow. Still a good chance he could play. When you see him downgraded, it's like, what's going on here? Is there something that they don't want the NFL to fine us for, or is it something that
we did just wasn't it yesterday or the day before that Jerry literally said the NFL does
very
not
stringent on that,
mess around when it comes to that type of situation. You have to report it, even if it's tiny, even if it's minor,
right.
Anything that could possibly impact. It's more the designation,
yes.
I guess.
If they're listed,
questionable seems to imply that it's a little bit more than just like a bump or a bruise or a little.
They used to have
right?
doubtful. They still have.
Doubtful is even more so.
Yeah, doubtful. Hardly anybody ever plays when they're doubtful. When there's probable, there's usually. Probable is they usually do play, but I think they took probable away. So now,
maybe questionable is the only designation that they have if there's anything wrong.
And I think the Cowboys wanted to make sure that they again covered their asses. If Rico comes in there, he's coming in with some kind of little rap or something like this. They might say, "Uh-oh, here comes a problem. What happens in the game if he gets hurt? Then we didn't list him." So I don't know if that's the case. He might not play. If he doesn't play, guess what happens? You guys get to see Rico Dowdle, number 42. I mean, not 42. Deuce Vaughn, number 42 rookie.
I was about to say, the Deuce gets even loose.
He gets a little more loose. The Deuce gets a little more knocked out of there. So, again, we'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens with Rico Dowdle tomorrow. But, again, that ankle injury, questionable for the game after this Saturday walkthrough with the team. So, I'll look in the chat in a minute. We'll look in the chat about this, this quick situation. It's really the only news here as far as the injuries are concerned. Now, what about elevations, movement on the roster? We have not moved anybody off the practice squad to our 53-man roster. At least I have no names yet. If I missed that, I'm sorry. But we did move up a practice squad player to our 53-man roster. Now, we didn't elevate them, meaning, for the game day active roster, and then they go back to practice squad. Remember, no more, for linebacker, for example, we have no more elevations for guys like
Yeah, we have to actually
Malik,
add them to the team if we want to.
Yeah, we got to actually put them on the 53-man roster. So you got to practice squad guys like Malik Jefferson at linebacker, who we have not been able to use for weeks because he's already been elevated 3 times. Once you hit 3, you can't be elevated anymore for the rest of the season with that team until the playoffs. And we also have Rashaan Evans, who just met his 3rd elevation. Now, last night, what did I say, guys? I said my bet is going to be Rashaan Evans going to get elevated. Not elevated, but signed to the 53 today. And your boy MCF was right. Cowboys today officially signed pen to paper to the 53-man roster, linebacker Rashaan Evans. So congrats to him. And again, he's a guy that, boom. Well, let me move him back to the middle here. Number 32, officially part of the Cowboy 53-man roster. Of course, it's a bump in pay for him. But more importantly, we have a little bit of a pure linebacker depth, a guy that can make tackles, played well for the short time he had in there. So I like this is I think him over Malik Jefferson is a good move. The Cowboys would have, if they liked Malik Jefferson, they would have signed him to 53 and not have picked up Rashaan Evans to run him 3 times into the elevation side of things for the practice squad. So Evans has been elevated from this practice squad. Could not play with us until today, which now we moved him to our active 53-man roster. He should be playing tomorrow in this game and be probably elevated not elevated, but playing in pretty much active for most of our remaining games of the season. So he's going to be an important player on our team.
Important depth piece, for sure.
For sure. And again, another thing I wanted to mention there, Rashaan Evans. For the last couple of weeks in the practice squad, being elevated from the Cowboys, several teams outside of Dallas, other NFL teams have tried to sign him off the Cowboys practice squad. But he purposely did not take those offers. He stayed in Dallas.
He trusted that he would be elevated.
Correct. Basically. He knew that if anybody's going to make it on the field and get some snaps, it's going to be in Dallas where we have 2 linebackers and then Micah Parsons of the actual linebackers, and one of them's a safety.
And for those of you guys joining us here, obviously a few minutes later, we just discussed the fact that Rico Dowdle all of a sudden was questionable after today's walkthrough. Again, kind of remains to be seen what exactly is going to happen as far as will he be active tomorrow or not. But even if he is active, expect him to not get as much play time, which is just obviously our personal.
And I think you'll see more Deuce Vaughn out there, playing, the backup to Kevontae Turpin on the returns. Turpin is good to go. So that's the Rico Dowdle situation. Is unfortunate, but questionable still means he can play. He probably won't play as much. You see more Deuce Vaughn, yada, yada, yada. That's pretty much the breakdown there from the running back situation. Maybe a little more Tony Pollard tomorrow. Maybe he gets that. I think tomorrow is the big game for Tony Pollard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, the other piece of news we discussed, if you guys joined us here, is number 32, Rashaan Evans, officially, like I said yesterday, part of the Cowboys' 53-man roster. Now, we have 54 guys now, don't we? If we move them on there, which we did. We moved them up. So
who gets the boot?
It wasn't right away. So who do we cut? Who do we move off this team here? How do we move them off? The big question was, how do we create the room for Rashaan Evans this week? Now we know we got him on there, but we had to release someone, and we did. One of our rookies, guys, is not released. We would have had to release someone.
Him to the practice squad.
Well, no. I should have not jumped that gun there. It's a rookie on our team here.
Oh wait, that's right.
4th round, Vilemi Fehoko, Junior Fehoko. He was moved to the injured reserve. He's out for at least 4 weeks. Pretty much a red shirt season for him, guys. And guess who mentioned his name yesterday that would be maybe cut? Me. I said Vilemi Fehoko, although was not cut. I said unless I can move him on there. Remember, guys, he has had a quote-unquote, again, I'm going to make a joke here, a serious knee injury. Now, of course, this means he tweaked his knee in practice last week. He was on the injury report this week. And Fehoko was full practice the entire week, so there was no gauge that he was going to be a guy who couldn't play for the next 4 weeks. Well, the Cowboys probably said, listen, your injury meets these thresholds to keep you on the squad, on the team. We're going to, instead of cutting you, we're going to
remember, you still get paid if you're on IR, right?
Oh, yeah, you still get paid. But if he gets cut and puts on the practice squad, he loses some of that money, the guarantees. So this is a way of him keeping the guarantees. The Cowboys being cool with him about keeping the guarantees and moving him to a 4-week break. Again, he has been a practice player for us pretty much, not anything else on our 53-man roster. So moving a guy like Fehoko, who I saw him pretty much inactive every week, and that's why I figured he'd be the next man gone or moved around. I know we also had Sweat. Was there a guy Sweat up there that we had playing? I forgot his name. Travis Sweat. I don't know. The point is we had a guy moved in there, number 92, who was playing some edge, but he at least got in the games. He played a lot of practice squad, snaps there. So some people said him. Now I said Fehoko being a rookie. I don't want to say luckily, but he had that little knee injury on the injury report. To be specific, he still practiced all week, and now he's out for 4 weeks, which is a good move. We're gonna get much more, usage out of someone like Rashaan Evans, of course, than someone like Vilemi Fehoko. I'm being honest. And when you look at Sweat, I think
it almost doesn't even come close.
When you look at Sweat, I think his name is Sweat. Why am I not? I'm thinking it's not right.
Why does it start with a D? Doesn't
what?
it?
No.
His name?
No.
The Sweat guy?
Let me know if you guys remember number 92. What's his damn name? But he came up there, was elevated to the 53-man roster a month ago or so. He's played like the second and third most practice squad. Special team snaps. So you're not going to get rid of that guy.
Yeah.
But Fehoko isn't even active for games. That's why they moved him to the injured report, to
why
IR.
You also figured that he would be
the first one moved there. So, yes, Fehoko somehow was going to be moved around. He is now on IR for 4 weeks. Like I said, though, he'll be back, week 15? Week 16, maybe? I'm just saying, it's a red shirt season for Fehoko. Another questionable draft pick. Let's be honest. I got to be honest about that.
I have to be real, too. 2023 draft is shaping up to be
not
hands down one of the worst ones since I've been watching our Dallas Cowboys. Let's say Mozzie somehow knocks it out of the park. That basically leaves one of our picks doing what they were supposed to do. And that's it.
Yeah. So I'm with you. So again, not a very good draft. Fehoko on IR for at least 4 weeks and beyond. And at least we have a solid player that's going to play some middle linebacker for us there of depth from Rashaan Evans. So that's the deal there. That's how we made room for Evans. But I want to add one last thing to this, to the roster moves. The other guy we thought that may come on here, I think you said we might hold off on him, is tight end Peyton Hendershot. Hendershot, guys, number 89, on IR for 4 weeks, had full practice all week. And the Cowboys today decided to not activate him off that 21-day window. So we don't have to cut anyone or move anybody on injury and the injured list. And we can still wait another week to put Hendershot in the active roster. Now, that means that Peyton Hendershot will not be able to play this game. Of course, he's still inactive automatically because he's not on the 53-man roster with that ankle injury. But his next chance, of course, comes up in 4 days against the Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving. So right now for this game, for the Panther game, the tight ends, which might factor important in this game, of course, starting tight end against the Panthers is going to be Jake Ferguson, number 87. Luke Schoonmaker is number 2 there, number 86. And Sean McEwen, number 84. I would say this, and I said this last night, look for McEwen. If no one gets injured, and knock on wood, no one gets injured. No, if someone gets injured, they're moving him to IR, and we're going to move Peyton Hendershot immediately onto this 53-man roster. But let's say we come out of this unscathed, which would be fantastic. What I think happens is we actually release someone like Sean McEwen that no one will pick up, and we put him back on the practice squad the next day where he began the season. So that's my guess.
To make the most sense.
I mean, you're replacing a tight end with a tight end.
Not just that, but you're also doing it with the guy that, like you said, is much less likely to actually be poached from you.
Exactly.
Considering, like you said, Rashaan Evans already had multiple offers.
Yeah. So, guys, there it is. Yeah. Let me hit the chat up real quick. By the way, everybody, hit that like button if you haven't hit it yet. Subscribe if you're new to the channels. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live, and it is on the nightly here. And we got the Twitter thing at X, and we got the Discord thing. So join up in there, sub up in there, follow us there. I know Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter. Sub up there, follow us, whatever. All these places, all social media, at MyCowboysFamily. So it's pretty simple to remember. Thank you all for rocking here. Hit that like, subscribe, and that bell, baby. Let's get some comments real quick in the chat. Some more shout-outs. I know I've been talking for a while. I know a lot of people jumping in. Hit those hearts too, guys. Hey, drop your knowledge in the chat. And if you want to make a run at this thing or get in the raffle for tomorrow, you can drop some love or jump in the membership. It's all yours, baby. Who's in the house right now? New comments, new thoughts, new people in here. Let's go, Cowboys.
Oh, Fuego said, those are the names I gave him. Let me see. Mighty Mouse, a.k.a. Roadrunner. There you go. Deuce Vaughn.
Little Deuce nicknames.
I like the Mickey Mouse one.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Or Mighty Mouse, sorry. Let me see. And hey, Prince Jackson, enjoy it, man. Texas is its own experience for sure. Seabass.
Don't drive, though.
Roadrunner.
Seabass in the house, yeah.
I'm so sad that actually, no, supposedly they are going to release a Roadrunner movie. Or it's a Wile E. Coyote movie. It
was pushed around, yeah.
Yeah, but they were going to cancel it, and then the reaction was like, holy shit, what the heck, why? And now they're releasing it. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go see it, because that is definitely an old school Looney Tunes fan. So, and all of those Acme ones there. So Roland Rodriguez saying, you think you rest Rico so he can play healthy on Thanksgiving? Because the Panthers aren't as good as the Commanders. So, I mean, me personally, I think it's going to be an interesting mix. With Rico being down, you kind of have to play Tony Pollard more. But it's not like Deuce can really pick up the load. So my first immediate mindset is Lipke maybe gets a few extra. Again, when I say few, I mean like maybe 1, 2, right? Because he doesn't really it's not like he gets the ball handed off to him very often. But my point is that, you just might see him a little bit more. I kind of already mentioned that I'm expecting a little bit more of that kind of motion you see sometimes from our receivers like CD or Cooks as well, where they kind of play that, running back-ish role.
Well, let me add another guy on that list. Cavante Turpin.
True.
I think he's
Turpin's
a guy that
healthy,
also gets some of those snaps, even more than Lipke. I think Lipke gets maybe some short yardage, some blocking, some of that, I don't want to say I formation or L formation, but you get some of that fullback blocking at times in some of the formations. I think Lipke gets a chance later in the game as well with Deuce Vaughn. So we'll see how that goes. But, running back-wise, I think Pollard's going to get a lot more usage than maybe first expected. And they're not going to be able to balance him with Rico as much if he's not going to play as much. So that means you got to use a little more Deuce in there. And I think like CeeDee Lamb, I think more than Cooks, I think you got Turpin.
Yeah.
I think you see those guys getting a couple of those running plays as well. Dak taking a couple of those down, running them.
I agree. They're the safer ones, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that there's ways of getting the ball to other guys' hands for this 1 week against the Panthers. We can rest Rico. I don't know if it's for that reason. Again, maybe they're covering their asses because of the Joe Burrow thing, but also maybe it is that they just want to keep him ready to go and healthier for Washington. That could be it. But the Cowboys are not. The Cowboys are not prioritizing though. They're not from the way that Jerry Jones speaks, the way that Mike McCarthy speaks. For the most part, they're not really prioritizing Rico Dowdle snaps. They're saying we like what we're doing. Tony Pollard's our number 1. We know that McCarthy has to say that. We know that Jerry Jones, paid $10 million plus for Tony Pollard for this year. So they're gonna keep that narrative going over and over again. That's my guess. At the same time, though, they're saying that they want to keep him healthy for the Washington game. That means he's more important that they're leading on. Calvin Richard, with that J. Lou $2 holler in the house. Much love to him. What did the man say?
He said, trap game who? Who?
Can't fall for the okey-doke.
Again, at least our Cowboys are definitely, after the Arizona game, I think they're definitely a little bit more aware of those types of games. Like I said, Micah said it earlier in this week. We can't let that shit happen twice. So, I am just going to at least believe in our Cowboys that statement will be true. And at least previous experience does lead me to believe that it is possible, right? Ooh. Shout out to the man, Mark Seppi, and a big mahalo to
Big Mark in the house. The 5 on it.
You know
the
what he had
$5
to say?
holler. What did the man say?
Speaking of Looney Tunes, when I was 10, I stayed at Mel Blanc's house in Cali. My dad had met him. He's the man that did all the voices. Yep. Nicest man ever.
Yep, I know of him. I mean, it's not know of him personally, but I know Mel Blanc is the one that did all those Looney Tune voices and characters. So that's fucking awesome.
That is really awesome.
That is awesome, man. That is fantastic. That's a
legend.
Memorable, experience there growing up like that. So wow. That is awesome. Break down some more experiences like that.
Right, yeah. Hopefully the Cowboys don't go Looney Tunes. That's all I want and need, right? So, oh, that's awesome. Seabass said he filmed a short documentary there for his high school recreational program. So, yeah, this is a small world.
Yeah.
Now, even Prince Jackson agrees that Limpke should get some carries, if only, once again, by default. That last part was my own little addition there, just because, like I said, it's not even that the Cowboys want to somehow give it to him. It's that with Rico down, they're not just going to let Pollard take all those hits. And realistically speaking, CeeDee Lamb, Deuce is not going to be able to take all those RB2 hits. That's just a fact.
I think for the middle of third to the fourth quarter, I think he'll be fine. I think he has to play second quarter and beyond. We got Deuce Vaughn taking a lot more than he probably is going to be used to in the NFL.
I know. I guess the other alternative too is that once our backups are there, we have one of our other, deeper receivers, right? Like Brooks, just to use him as an example, right?
Yeah.
But we have another one of our other receivers that maybe also plays, although I guess Tolbert would probably be the better option in this one, but also plays that kind of CeeDee Lamb, Cooks, Turpin-esque role, although Turpin also will probably be out there. So I'm just saying that, there's lots of guys here that can help carry that load on the backup offense. Because the scheme can't really change that much, right?
We know what the Cowboys are definitely trajectory, much better scheme-wise. The man, Marco Sepien, another 5 on it. What did the man say? 91 points in the stream, boss. 9 away from topping out. They're fully loaded. What did Mark have to say, baby?
He said, I think the issue with our team is many of our players are nice to have, but not difference makers. Think of Deuce. He's averaging 2 yards a carry. Now, are you expecting a difference maker in the 6th round? Or from a guy like Deuce, who we knew going into things was always going to be kind of a gadget type of guy?
But that's Mark's point. Now, would we have gotten a difference maker? We got a different running back at that point? Probably not.
No.
But why are the Cowboys waiting that long to get a difference maker in the running back side of things to help out and balance things out back there? Now, Mark, I think I said this when he said this about the running backs last week. I think Rico is a quality running back. I'm not saying he's a difference maker, but Pollard's supposed to be the difference maker. So when it comes to the running back spot, I truly think the Cowboys will prioritize that even more next year. The analytics crew, Malapali is a big proponent of her switch on running backs and how you use them. So I think we're going to see either a change of style of running backs or, the running backs we're going to go forward with in the next seasons or beyond in the draft, through the draft. You might see more thought and care about which running backs we do draft in the future. But right now, this year, I think Rico is the guy. Pollard's the starter. The money dictates that, and that's the way it's going to be. So, difference maker for Deuce, he's a player they were rolling the dice on, is a homegrown guy. So, they figured they'll quote-unquote, waste a pick. They wanted, the guy they would have picked is Jalen Brooks. We got him in the 7th round. So,
we ended up getting him anyway. So.
In reality, Deuce Vaughn was just figure him as a free agent, as a free pick for the Cowboys.
Although, Mark, you know what you are right about and have been since pretty early on? This is definitely shaping up to be hands down one of the worst drafts in a very long time.
Yeah, again, year one situation. Villami, we just talked about Fehoko. Drafted in the 4th. You asked me earlier today, what is he drafted in? You were thinking 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
4th rounder. That's not a player you just throw out. We have not Deuce, but Dalton Schultz and Ferguson in the 4th, Biotish in the 4th. I'm saying we got guys that are starters, and then we got Fehoko who didn't even scratch the surface. So, again,
exactly.
redshirting him this year.
We've talked about quite a few times here because the Cowboys depend on their draft picks so much. When we miss on a draft pick, it hurts more so than maybe other teams.
Correct.
Because other teams take a slightly more balanced approach, although no one likes to lose out on a draft pick.
And I know Mark has asked this, and Mark Hovsepian has asked this all the time. We've asked this as well, and I think I've come to the conclusion that the Cowboys throw a lot of darts at the draft board. Why do they get so many players? The amount of players over the quality of players are higher picks because the Cowboys figure if they lose in a 2nd, they're going to hit on a 5th. And they get in starters. If the more guys they draft, the better chance they get starters on the team. So that's why I'm thinking the Cowboys go that route. Whether it's agreed upon by us or not, I don't know. I don't like it at all. That's the Cowboy methodology. That's the Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones narrative, the way the organization runs. So you got it. Yeah, yes. Now, much love to the man Marco Sepien. By the way, I got to give another huge shout out here. in the Cash App to the man who's the king of the Cash App, Stanley Smith, who dropped a $10 holler.
Ooh, Stanley, thank you.
Much love. He is currently, again, right behind Mark Hovsepian for third place. Mark is second. Stanley is third on the overall board. Of course, SnugX is first place overall, although Mark's getting closer there as well as in the Cash App. Stanley's getting closer to SnugX in the Cash App. Right now, SnugX is the leader on both those boards. We'll see what happens. Mark, Stanley chasing SnugX currently right now on both boards. Much love to you guys. Much love to Stanley Smith. Repping that star over everything. Over everything. You see it right there on my head, on my chest, over the MCF of the wife there. Go Cowboys. Much love to Mr. Stanley Smith, rocking it here in the Cash App again, trying to take over that board on that side of things. Getting closer and closer.
Both Fajokos just ain't it. Yeah, just didn't work out for them.
Junior, how about no more Fajokos here in Dallas? I don't know.
No more Fajono.
No more Fajos.
Yeah, Fajono.
Fajonos, yeah. That's what I think. Anyways, so that's it on those discussions. I guess we're going to move it here.
Jason, that's cool. He said he got to dress as Wile E. Coyote at Six Flags and do one of the acts there.
That is awesome, yes.
That's Stephen White said, screw the analytics crew. I have to highly disagree. They're the ones who were able to, at least from the background side of things, guide McCarthy's adjustments.
I think, remember those adjustments from after the break? McCarthy, I'm sure, had that. I'm sure Dak had input. But it was the analytics crew, guys. You got to remember, they didn't come here in February or March when we were installing the offense and defense. They came here in July when the time they got them all here. It was like July and August when we got all these guys fully loaded, and I think it was right before training camp. We got all analytics group. That means that we're starting off like 3 months behind. So it's almost felt like the training camp was like just like OTAs, and then weeks like that was like training camp and preseason. And then the first couple of weeks was like preseason for us. It felt like an offense. And then after the bye week, we're hitting our stride, kicking off the season the way we needed to be. And that part of that is, of course, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, the rest of the offense, the players, whatever. But it's also the analytics group that said, hey, you know what, Mike, motion more. It's working. Try this, three receiver sets on one side and one on the other, isolation, which now throws CeeDee Lamb in the mix. I don't know who said that, but they presented the numbers. Use Dak's legs more. Use play action more. God damn, we've been screaming about that for years here at My Cowboys Family, and now they need to pay fucking $45 million to these people to tell them the same thing we've been saying for 6 years on My Cowboys Family about how to use Dak and get him the best chance to succeed in this offense, in this scheme. So at least I give the analytics crew credit for that, and at least pushing maybe a little bit more of that behind the scenes than we may know. Because McCarthy could have done something earlier this year, and he still was very conservative. They said, open that shit up. And we opened up truly a bag of whoop ass here with a can of whoop ass. Yeah. As far as the offense growing is good, but we're gonna get tested later on in the year, a couple good teams in the playoffs, so we got to make sure the offense can last, and we get our things fine tuned between now and the bigger games in the playoffs. By the way, Mark Hovsepian dropping that 5 on it. Woo. The $5 holler as he's up to 96 points, 4 away from being fully loaded and getting closer to the man in first place, Snug X. Mark Hovsepian, what did he say?
He said, many give them too much credit. Need to be more realistic. That's it. I'm not saying he sucks. We have many Deuce-like guys. We just need a bit better guys.
Yeah, I agree. When we got Deuce, I was like, do we really need a guy that short? How are we going to use him? Of course, it got a little hype there in preseason. I still not giving up on Deuce. I just want to see how we use him better, and eventually you're going to have to use him, make him active to every game if he's going to be a useful 6th-round pick for us, right? Mark?
Absolutely agree.
Mark's dropping another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. A $5 holler there, trying to break away from Stanley Smith there in that second and third overall part of the board as Mark gets closer and closer and closer. Still a little bit away, but Snug X, he's trailing him now on the overall board. Let me know what else Mark Hovsepian said as he is fully loaded. 100 points in the stream, boss.
He said, what Jerry Jones tends to do is rate guys on value. We'll get a 5th-round guy as an undrafted free agent. We should base players on how many other teams that they would actually start on.
That's what I would base it on, like Mark said there. The Joneses have their own kind of
value metrics, and I think
their own
a
analytics.
fair point because, like you just said, they wanted Jalen Brooks. They were willing to get him in the 6th round. They got him in the 7th. Ooh, good value.
That's the way to look at it, though.
And again, on one hand, they're not necessarily wrong, right? It's not wrong to say, hey, here's a guy we could have gotten in the second round. Instead, we got him day 3 as a 4th rounder. That's fantastic. But there's that unanswered silent question. Why did someone who was ranked as a supposed second rounder fall all the way to the 4th round, right? Now, of course, sometimes there are like actual reasonable reasons, right? When teams come around and it's their turn to pick, they just don't need this guy at that position, and so on and so forth until, next thing you know, here you are on day 3. So, but there's also always that part of me that's like, well, maybe there is a reason that we got such a good deal on some of these guys. And
I'm with Mark on this when it comes to, rating these guys more on, like Osiris Torrance. He's blowing it out the water over there in Buffalo, even if, they're not doing that great at 5-5, but he's doing a great job. The value was there from the beginning. We saw him as a late first round, early second rounder. The Cowboys see him that way? Probably not. And who made the pick on this? It sounds to me that it was a more McCarthy, hey, let's get a tight end that can block deal instead of just a guy who can block. And Osiris Torrance. I don't know. Maybe it's just backwards thinking.
That one's going to linger for a while.
It feels like it would. You know what's also going to linger here, baby? The man with the plan right now, trying to get to the top of the board. It's our current Cash App king. And getting closer to the top of the spot on that Cash App side. Stanley Smith dropping a $20 Tony Pollard holler for that run game. Much love to Stanley Smith. By the way, still second place, of course, behind Snug X, but now by, I think, 2 or 3, has officially jumped over Mark Hosepian on the overall board. To the battle ensues there for second place.
Stanley.
As they battle it out. Who knows? For third place. Appreciate you, Stanley Smith. And yes, repping that star over everything here on My Cowboys Family. Appreciate you. Now, let's get it rolling here to the final portion of things tonight here, which is basically, I want to see some things. It's my little notebook here of things that we need to see in this game against the Panthers. And listen, last week we talked about this in the Giants game with the things I wanted to see. Brandon Cooks being used more. I still want to see that. I want to see Brandon Cooks being utilized in tandem with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a one-time against this game thing. It was, okay, now we saw him used more. We need to continue to see that type of usage.
Did we unlock Brandon Cooks in this offense? I hope so. Yeah. I want to see more of that. One of the things we talked about was Rico Dowdle, which, of course, we talked about already. With the injury, we don't know how much he will play tomorrow, but then we'll want to see what can Deuce do, right? We got the situations out there with...
Instead of do, right? Do the Deuce.
Again, I'll go back to receiver, of course, CeeDee Lamb. Wherever he is, Dak, find him, please, because he's going to be matched up against a broken defensive backfield in Carolina.
Yeah, so why not make it, instead of 350-plus yard games with 10-plus catches, why not make it 4?
Yeah, I mean,
for
4
Lamb,
and 10 catches, 150 plus. That's what we're looking for from CD. But again, all these are keys that are obvious. The trenches, we got to win the blocking. I also want to say, don't forget, I think a major player in this game tomorrow is not just the running backs or the receivers, but also the tight ends. I think Jake Ferguson is going to be utilized. Again, he has 3 straight touchdowns in 3 straight games. A touchdown in each game in the last 3 weeks. That hasn't been done by a tight end since Jason Witten in 2019.
That's a good point.
I want to see him get 4 touchdowns this week. 4 touchdowns in 4 weeks. Let's see number 87 do the stuff that Dalton Schultz did, but he's doing it quicker and better, I think, than Dalton Schultz. So we'll see how that goes. But the overall look on this team, and that's offense mainly, but also defense, I got to see the key to success, keys to victory and success as a team. Start fast.
Okay.
We cannot let again.
That's like like I said, the one monkey we have yet to get off our back.
Red zone, we've gotten better.
Red zone, we've gotten
better last 3 weeks.
Spot we've improved in, but
yeah,
every single game this season we've looked bad at the beginning.
Every game we might have won. We might have just. I remember we destroyed the Giants, but we looked bad in that first drive on defense and on offense as well. So got Mark Hosepian with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it, and D-Link. With his message, he was gifted a membership the other day. Much love to D-Link. 18 months representing it in the membership. What did both of these ballers have to say, baby?
So Mark Hosepian said with his drop, what's concerning is we more or less are playing the same team from last year since our draft has really done jack. How can Cooks not be used? He's proven.
Exactly. I agree. 100% on that. I mean, Cooks not being used... It seemed to be more a failure in the coaching side of things, and maybe not saying, hey, look, they're telling him focus mainly on CeeDee Lamb a lot, and that's great. But we got to mix it up when CeeDee Lamb is getting double teamed. Let's get the other guys.
I think it's a weird combination of things because let's be honest, even the few times we did try to force the ball to Cooks, didn't look great. I think that Cooks and Dak obviously have continued to work on their connection, and I think that work has paid off because I'm almost positive I remember that during the bye week, Dak specifically said that they spent like a little extra time together, that Dak spent some extra time with some of his receivers or something. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but
he always does that. He always spends extra time.
He always does that, but that's my point. It just, whatever extra focus, whatever other tweaks and additions along with that, it clearly made a difference because I'm guessing that connection was always there. For whatever reason, it was just being disjointed or disrupted. So, because there's no way you go from basically, looking like Jalen Tolbert last year to looking like Brandon Cooks did in this past game, just from like 0 to 60, without a little help from your scheme and a little help from the QB and the receiver.
By the way,
D-Link, by the way.
I just want to say one last thing real quick. Marco Seppian with that drop, 99 points in the Stream Boss after that D-Link membership comment. But also Marco Seppian back into second place, getting closer and closer to Snug X in first, but just right now a little bit over Mr. Smith over there, Stanley Smith, on second place on the overall board. Okay, now D-Link, what did he say in his 18-month membership there in the Navy Blue Crew?
I can't wait for our Cowboys to get to 7-3. Parsons will get at least 2 sacks thanks to the haters. Appreciate UMCF and MCW. Hashtag star
much
over everything.
Much love, D-Link. Always appreciate you. Another one of the OGs here on MCF. So thank you. Now, go ahead.
No, I did want to read another comment here.
Yeah, hit it up.
Prince Jackson is thrown out there. I find it really hard to criticize the Cowboys drafting, especially when I look at teams like the Giants, the Bears, or even the Commanders. I could, of course, go on, but
let me say it this way. I don't think the Cowboys should be above criticism. The fact that they rely on the draft so hard, that's the Cowboys' choice. Now, they do a good job, I think, almost every year drafting well, but you fuck up, it's a bigger hit and it's more noticeable. So to me, I still don't judge this draft. It's just this year, it's a bust draft for the most part overall. But let's see what happens the next 2 years, and then we can really judge it better. That's what I stand on.
Just saying that even for a bust draft, this is one heck of a rough start. And like I said, it's hard for me to picture such a rough start for all of our drafted picks.
My biggest thing is I don't think we can just sit here and say, don't ever criticize them. Even Will McClay, my guy, you got to criticize. Sometimes they just make some bad play. It happens. It happens to everyone. It happens to happen. Yeah, it happened. That was your guy. That was your guy, Marinelli.
We will agree to disagree.
Stephen Jones' fault. No, look. The point I'm trying to say is that the Cowboys, they put so much weight into this. It has to be. You have to get a couple solid picks, no matter what. No matter what. If you don't get it, they got to be criticized. Now, sometimes people criticize them, and we got 3 or 4 good players, and they still criticize it. Well, that's a little more hate or a little more the want for perfection. It's just not realistic. But the truth of the matter is, when we miss like this, it's going to be talked about. And whether it's good or I don't care. I know we have usually good drafts, and we rely on it so much, you can't have a draft like that, in my opinion.
So let's just see how the rest of the year goes, right? But, Fuego also saying, I'll put my last 20 on Bland tomorrow to get 2 interceptions.
Woo, man.
Yeah, I will say that was the one thing that, we got, obviously, at the end of that Giants game. But it would be nice if Bland could get a pick 6 in this Panthers game, wouldn't it?
Hey, listen, he would tie the all-time record for most pick 6s. I want him to get a pick 6 in this game, so that'd be nice. Not gonna, it could sit here. We'll have a couple of bold predictions here at the end of the thing. We're at the end of the stream here, but I want to finish a couple of the points I had kind of jotted down. The quick start is important for our offense, guys. Again, this should be the goal in every single game. Everybody, no matter who we play, but starting fast is the best way to kill the confidence of inferior teams. All right, we can't let them get any kind of hope like the Cardinals did against us, and they started fast, we started slow against a bad team, right?
That's where you create openings and opportunities.
Exactly. You don't want to hope for them. So Panthers know they aren't as talented as the Cowboys. They know this already. So their main motivation is going to be to come out and hit the big bad bully. This is their Super Bowl. Hit us right in the mouth and hope the shot can lead to some kind of surprise victory. They should never come close, guys. But to prevent even that possibility from happening tomorrow, the Cowboys have to set the tone. Kicking off this game, start of the game, no matter who gets the ball first. I know we talked about getting the ball first on offense and just starting to pile on the points as fast as possible. McCarthy, I believe McCarthy doesn't need to take the football if we win the toss. Go straight down the field, no fuck ups. No, I don't want to see no punt. I don't want to see no fucking field goal touchdown. and let's put this thing right on them immediately from the beginning. So with a game coming around the corner like Washington in 4 days, you want to put this one away quickly. If the Cowboys start on defense, Dan Quinn and this defense cannot start off like they've started off pretty much every single game, other than maybe last week. Every game these guys have pretty much started off slow, penalties, mistakes, stupid things, breakdowns in coverage, breakdowns in stopping the run, and then the team always gets a field goal or a touchdown on us, the opponent team. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. The Cardinals did it to us. So the defense got to go out there, force a 3-and-out or a turnover, and break their spirit on that first drive. That's a fast start by offense or defense, whoever gets that ball first, and that's what we got to do. Now, I also got to do this. What did Mark Hovsepian say? He dropped that 5 on it, fully loaded.
Ooh.
And again, pulling away a little bit more from Mr. Again, we got Mr. Stanley Smith, who right now is falling a little bit behind there, I think, on Mark Hovsepian on the overall board. Mark getting closer again to Mr. Snug X. What did he say?
I think a lot of the success is because we're playing shit teams, but I think these will give us good practice to integrate these players against the good teams.
Exactly.
And that's what
last week we said that,
why
right?
we're so excited to see Brandon Cooks finally popping off. Not because, like I said, we wanted to see it only against that shitty Giants game. It's because that's the type of stuff we want to see against the Eagles next time we face them.
And the Niners in the playoffs, right? We got to see
and
Brandon
on
Cooks,
and on and on.
Brandon Cooks' ability to get open is not a figment of our imagination. We want to see it happening, continue happening, and it happening against the better teams.
Yeah, it should be a reality of our situation.
Yeah, we can't see it happening to other teams, better teams, if we can't do it against the shitty teams, right? So I agree with you there, Mark.
Agree.
100%, 100%, 1,000% there. Hopefully we do this tomorrow. But fast starts, very important. Now, talk about the offense, another factor in this game. And again, I know we talk about Dak Prescott in this game. Again, going up against the 4th-ranked pass defense of the Panthers. But they didn't have J.C. Horn, so that's still the same. But now they don't have C.J. Henderson. They are looking to get destroyed by us in their secondary. And Dak, I believe I said running the ball. I think Pollard will get some. I talked about it earlier. Pollard gets some yards. I think Pollard, I thought it was Rico will get some yardage here as well, and kind of get in the mix. Pollard should break one tomorrow for a touchdown, a big one. I believe he hopefully will have his day. The Panthers are ranked like 31st, I think, in run defense. One of the worst in the league by far. So running the ball, whoever's there should be beneficial. But when we pass the ball,
even Deuce should have hopefully a pretty solid day.
Well, we'll see. You got to use him properly, right, later on in the game. But I think more so when we do throw, and we can't throw against this defense, they can be beaten in the air. Even more so now. And it's the main thing for Dak Prescott to tear this secondary up. Guess what it is? The trenches, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
The Cowboys need to protect Dak Prescott. He has been sacked 22 times in 9 games and 10 times on the 3 road losses. So,
too damn much.
Yeah. The main guy we got to watch here is right tackle Terrence Steele, returning this year from that torn ACL and MCL of Week 13 in 2022 last year. Has struggled in run blocking, but even more so in pass protection.
Yeah, he's been the weakest link, surprisingly,
even
with all the injuries and backups.
Even with Biotish, even with Adoga. It seems to be, Terrence Steele, especially the last couple of weeks, has been suffering. Now, Hassan Reddick gave him many, many problems in Philadelphia, now facing a similar type of pass rusher. In number 0 from Carolina, Brian Burns. Very underrated pass rusher. Very good player. He can wreck things on his own. That's Terrence Steele's job this game. He's got to make it work. Again, Burns can rush against Tyron Smith as well. He can rush from the right side or the left side. So we have to watch that, and he'll have to be ready for the change of pace, the way these guys rush. So Terrence Steele is going to really have to be on his game when he goes up against Brian Burns. I believe Burns will be probably kept away from Tyron Smith. Right now, Tyron Smith is the highest rated pass blocking tackle in the NFL right now, in the entire league. Tyron Smith.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're just going to do exactly what anyone else would do if you're going up against the Cowboys. So why would you put him against Tyron Smith? So you can put us against your weakest link.
Yeah, he might get a little pressure, Tyron Smith. That's it. He might get 3 sacks against Terrence Steele and change the game. So Terrence Steele got to do his thing, and we got to help him. Schoonmaker got to help. Lipke, if he's in there, and of course Pollard or Dowdle, whoever's in there, got to help. Deuce Vaughn won't be able to help block. So we got to make sure we got guys in there that can help block. Right tackle side there, Terrence Steele, especially when Brian Burns, if he's wrecking the day, we got to make sure we do something about this. Their defensive coordinator, his name is Ejiro Evero, will have to get creative to help. He's not about just to rush Brian Burns on his own, because we got other guys that are going to help in combo blocking and stuff like this, and kind of giving off, passing off the players. So he's going to have to get creative to get Burns to do some swim, some stunts, some other kind of stuff on the pass rush to get to Dak Prescott. But the Cowboys we will destroy this Panther defense, no question, running the ball and passing the ball if we protect Dak Prescott passing the ball. So again, chip blocks for steal, but tight ends and running backs. And let Dak throw the ball down the field. Let him cook down the field with Brandon Cooks. You know what I mean? So
I know, sorry, that was...
Get him cooking. And
the way you said that made me laugh.
I'm telling you.
Caught me off guard in a good way.
The biggest issue, that's one of the last kind of thing I'm going to talk about is for our defense. And I'll get to that in a minute because Marco Seppian said, hold on, talk about defense. Here's a J-Lou $2 holler.
Woo.
With a 2 on it, baby. What did the man say?
He said, I'm a good sport. Free Prep H for Panthers fans. Orale.
Let's get it. Everyone, I see a lot of Panther fans already lining up
guys,
for that preparation
donate all
H.
the Prep H you have. Panther fans are going to need it.
Yeah, they're going to have definitely a limited supply after this weekend.
The lubrication station is over at that end.
But we have to have a limited supply of their mark. We have a limited supply of penalties in this game. The guy who's reffing this game has thrown the least amount of penalties in the NFL this year for referees. They do watch offensive holding. They watch some offsides on the defense. So we got to be on top of this. And the reason I'm mentioning this, yes, we know the offensive penalties, but it's the defensive penalties that have been killing us this year the most. They've been keeping drives alive. They've been playing sloppy on defense. That shit's got to stop. You want to give the Panthers a chance? You play shitty on defense, and you'll give guys like Bryce Young, the first overall pick quarterback. You'll give him a little confidence. He'll start running. Be a little hard and shifty to tackle, and then we're going to have to fall into a situation where we're letting him back in the game or letting him into the game. So that shit must stop. So we got to not have limiting the penalties, especially on defense. And again, on the road, like McCarthy said, is where our penalties are the worst. So that's all around. But on defense, we had one of the highest. I think we were before the Monday night game. We were the highest 32 penalties on defense. That's number one until the Monday night game last week. And I think we went to third. Too many penalties on this defense is too good to be hurt by dumb shit. That's not the kind
of top 5 lists I want to be making. I don't know about you.
So we got to do better on the road with the penalties overall. We got a referee that barely throws fucking penalties. No excuses this week. We know they watch offensive holding and they watch offsides and neutral zone shit from the defense. So defense, who makes a lot of mistakes, the most of those kind of penalties is us on defense when it comes to offsides. Got to play disciplined football. Got to play clean football. Right now, the Cowboys, when it comes to penalties, oh man. Cowboys have killed themselves, and in previous seasons, we've killed ourselves with penalties in critical times of games. The Cowboys are currently tied with the Cardinals for the lead league in flags thrown against them overall. Us and the Cardinals, 69 penalties thrown against us. We rank 5th in the NFL with the most penalty yards against us, 554 yards against us. So we've lost this year. I'm sure a couple touchdowns because of these penalties. Overall penalties. The Cowboys committed critical penalties in all 3 losses this year, and they're all on the road. Particularly impactful penalties in that close loss to the Eagles. The Cardinals and Niners games, those 2 losses, were a little bit more out of reach, unfortunately for us. Some of that was because of penalties, by the way, in the beginning of games. But a false start penalty by the Cowboys on offense on the Eagles' 10-yard line, within 5 points. And it just kind of kept pulling us down all the way that we was, we had to throw basically a little short Hail Mary there. So it unraveled. The Cowboys went down, and the penalty started that shit. Then we had 2 sacks from Terrence Steele, and it all went downhill. Cowboys lead the league in defensive offsides and defensive holding penalty. We're like 2nd or 3rd in the league on defensive penalties. But when it comes to these categories,
specific kinds of penalties, we are
defensive offsides. They watch this the most of this crew, so keep that in mind. And
apparently, we're very trigger happy.
Yeah, and defensive holding penalties. We are number 1 in the league. Cannot have these defensive, not interference, but holding penalties. So, got to do better on defense. That's why I keep yelling defense on this. This is a major issue for the defense. And defensive holding penalties are automatic first downs. Not the yardage. You get the 5 yards, but it's automatic first downs. We did that like 3rd down multiple times, guys. And a lot of these defensive offsides get free plays and usually end up in the first down for the opposing offense.
I said there was even a 4th down defensive holding.
I'm sure.
Exactly, like you said.
Listen, the key in this game, even if we have a lot of penalties, we should fucking kill the goddamn... We should keep pounding the Panthers into the ground. But limiting the penalties in this game will prevent the Panthers of having any kind of hope, stop them from having drives that get extended off of dumb fucking defensive penalties, And, of course, all that adds up. It means it limits their fucking scoring abilities and opportunities. They're going to punt, 3 and outs, turnovers, no penalties, Cowboy defense. And listen, I know when we play defense, I know the way the Cowboys play defense, it's aggressive. It does sometimes come up with some penalties here and there. You just cannot give up the free and easy first downs, keep drives going. 3rd and 27, you get a, offsides, they're not going to kill us. But 3rd and 2, when you get offsides, is a free first down and a free play. That's the kind of shit cannot allow to happen. No freaking way. So, overall, guys, and again, I wanted to just go real quick. Our defense against their offense, the young Bryce Young, first pick of the overall draft, shorter quarterback. He scrambles a little bit, but he's not very accurate, especially under pressure. Stop the running game, which is very minimal. Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. They've had some yards, but 2 touchdowns in a year running the ball. Tight end, Hayden Hurst is out. Concussion. Other guys are out on this tight end crew. Tommy Tremble is their number 1 guy. They're trembling right now. At receiver, DJ Shark is back. Adam Thielen's having a good year. Mingo is their right receiver there. But, again, like I'm saying, how are you going to get the ball in their hands if they're getting pressured? We have the second best pass defense in the NFL. And that offensive line, and we control the trenches, it's over for this team, no matter if they run or pass. One of the worst offensive lines in the league, and I think 32nd, 31st in stopping the run in the league. Second in pass, but overall yardage given up and all horrible guys. One of the worst, I think, overall, like 32nd defense in the league. So I'm sorry, offensive line in the league. So keep that in mind. They cannot run block, and they're not very good at pass protection. Our defense should be tearing them up no matter what they try to do. On the other side of the ball, our offense, like I talked about a couple of days ago, Texas toe style. Brian Burns is the number 1 guy we have to watch for, number 0. On the other side, they have Derek Brown, number 95. He is a key to watch, an X factor for them. Derek Brown is playing pretty well this year. Inside, they got Deshaun Williams and Shai Tuttle. Not much going on there. Stopping the run, also not much going on when it comes to linebackers. They can't do it interior. They can't do it at linebacker spot. Deion Jones, formerly of Cleveland. Frankie Louvu, who's actually been playing really good from the Jets, formerly of the Jets. DJ Johnson. These are the 3 guys that are going to be kind of running or manning that linebacker role, stopping the run. They have a lot of missed tackles, combined some of the worst in the league. So missed tackles, not a good interior. That equals a lot of running opportunities for the Cowboys. Secondary style here, again, cornerbacks, they're decimated. No Henderson, no C.J. Henderson, no Horn. That means, like we said yesterday, Dante Jackson's being killed all year. In the slot, Troy Hill, not very good. And then you got the guy who might be starting, guys, DiCaprio Boodle. Yeah, I don't know who the hell he is. And a bunch of rookies that may go in there as well. They're in trouble on their cornerback side. Defensive backs, including safeties. They got a couple veterans in there. Free safety Von Bell, formerly of the Bengals. And, of course, former Cowboy and Minnesota Viking, Xavier Woods. Some of these guys are questionable. I think they'll all play. That's their secondary. We should, like I said, thrash them. Attacking them as long as Dak stays pressure-free. We will be able to do whatever we want on the ground, running the ball, whoever's getting a hand on the ball, and of course in the air. Considering pass protection, considering all of this stuff, we should be destroying this team from the moment that the coin toss is flipped to those zeros on the clock in the 4th quarter. It's my 2 cents on things, baby. Any last comments from you? Any last comments from the chat before we get on out of here for the night and wrap it up in this quickie pre-game discussion as we get prepped and ready for tomorrow's, hopefully, just slaughter. We're going to have some animal abuse tomorrow on these Panthers. So, baby, any thoughts from the chat here?
A special shout out here for 1 quick second.
Let's go.
To the Manfuego and Seabass, who are taking time out of their Thanksgiving to give back to those who are less fortunate and, share some lovely food and hopefully a little bit of a smile and some good cheer this holiday season.
That's the true family stuff.
I have to give that respect. Again,
hell yeah.
We're actually lucky enough to have family coming into town for, we usually that doesn't happen very often on Thanksgiving specifically. Yeah. So, definitely feeling extra grateful this Thanksgiving. And if you guys are able to help, share, pay it forward, please do so, especially in your local immediate communities. I think that's one of the best ways to be able to actually see, where your help is able to go and impact, where you live directly in that sense. So
agree, 100%, baby. Great stuff that you're doing.
Now, kind of rolling it a little bit back more to the football side of stuff real quick. Jason Renfro said, do you think Turpin will be returning for the game tomorrow? Yeah,
yes, he's
good. Been designated healthy, unlike some other players. And I'm expecting him to probably take on, 1 or 2 snaps that Dowdle should have had. Let's say he would have gotten 10 snaps in that game. Spread him around amongst a few guys, and that's where you'll see his carries go. Rolando Rodriguez throwing out there, MCF, the better Dak and CD play, also Micah, how much money are they going to demand? There's no hometown discount. You know what? Let Jerry Jones worry about that, because if Micah's playing like an elite player, and CD Lamb's playing like an elite player, and, well, it's time to re-ring Dak Prescott's bell, or adjust some of those numbers, that's a good thing. That means that these guys are doing what they're supposed to do and more.
I also think that what that means is Jerry Jones is willing to put a couple more years on this group of guys, meaning Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, even maybe McCarthy. I don't know. I'm just saying, just a couple more years running these guys, this wave of guys that we had the last, decade? It's going to be a decade by the time a couple more years go by. CeeDee Lamb would have played for us, 8 years already? Dak would have played for us for 12. I'm saying, when it's all said and done, the Cowboys hoping that these same guys can get us that Super Bowl. Defense, offense, special teams, the coaches. Yeah, that's what the Joneses are probably going to try to do. But you know why? Because 90% of these guys are their own guys. They're drafted guys. This is the way the Joneses want to win. Why? Because Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl without the Jimmy Johnson asterisk next to the name.
So, let me see. What else is here? Kind of rolling back. Let me see. Sergio Acosta is thrown out there. What happened with Overshown? Did he get injured?
Yes, I mean, he was injured in the preseason game. Come on. We again, I know it's been a little bit of time, right? But in preseason game 2 against Seattle, I think that was in Dallas too, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was in Seattle. Overshown, unfortunately, number 35, he hurt he tore his ACL, right? I mean,
I think so.
Just nonstop tears on the ACL this year has hurt a lot of players. Same game we lost John Stevens Jr., who was a tight end we could have probably used this season. But either way, Overshown, we know he's going to...
the way some other tight ends have been playing, right?
Overshown would have helped us for sure. A lot of guys would have helped us this year. But next year, we're going to have no LVE, but we'll have Overshown in the mix with Marquise Bell and Damone Clark. And probably another guy we're going to add in there, maybe in the draft, like you keep saying, baby. So we're going to shore up those 4 linebacker spots, I think, of the 2 that we usually use on game day. You usually use at most 2 linebackers in there.
So, which obviously helps when it comes to the depth situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, doubles your depth there. So, GM said over/under 2 takeaways.
Oh, over for me. It should be over. It should be 2 takeaways over. And we'll probably, I guess we can do a quick bold prediction here, baby, because...
why not? Yeah.
I think that the combination of Deuce Vaughn... I'm not Deuce Vaughn. The combination... I was going to say, this was my actual thing, was Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle would be hitting, over 200 yards together on the ground. But I have to redo that one now.
Yeah, that seems a little less likely now, obviously,
with
considering
Rico
the situation.
being banged up, right? So...
Bang, bang.
I do. What do you think? I'll let you do it.
I guess for me, my bold prediction... It's hard. You know what? No, I got you. So Turpin is going to finally do what we've been waiting all damn season for.
Get that
run one back.
TD return
on the punt or kickoff. So there you go. I think that's a nice, sweet, bold prediction, especially him coming off that little banged up shoulder situation.
That's a good one.
And with everything else going on. But outside of that, this bold prediction is not necessarily a happy one. But it's not a bad one either, right? Let's keep things in perspective. I don't think we're going to lay the smackdown on the Panthers the same way that we laid the smackdown on the Giants. So kind of rolling back, you remember when Skeptical Fan dropped that 31-10?
Yeah, the score.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that, like maybe like 32-14 or some crap like that,
there
right?
It is.
But yeah, it's not, I'm just saying, like, it's not going to be as fun as it was to beat down the Giants and lay the smackdown.
So on the road, you think it makes that kind of difference?
I think part of the reason we beat the Giants the way we beat the Giants is because we know them so well. And that only comes from playing a team twice a year for years and years and years upon years untold.
Knowing the coaching staff, even if it changes,
yeah,
still...
so that to me is the difference factor, the difference maker there. Like, even as ugly and crappy and banged up as the Panthers are, honestly, even more banged up than the Giants in a lot of ways.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, they just don't have the players to get banged up. The Giants at least have good players that are all out.
exactly.
The Panthers had no players.
That's what I'm saying. They started from the bottom and they went even lower. So, at least the Giants had a little bit of something going on. Anyway.
I mean, I would say a bold prediction more than him. I mean, returning one is a bold prediction, but two of them for Turpin, a kickoff and a punt.
Damn.
That would be awesome, right? That's kind of a little extra bonus prediction there. Listen, I said it last week, 5
Or
sacks.
an offensive touchdown and a special teams one too. That's all.
That'd be nice.
Very much a possibility, considering that we're probably expecting him to get, maybe 1 or 2 extra snaps than he normally does.
I think on the punts and kickoffs, he's going to also have, especially in the punts. If we get a lot of stops, we're going to get a lot of punt returns.
True.
I think that specifically Turpin has a better chance. Let's say
he'll get a lot more opportunities.
Yes, and that's why Turpin. I said it last night. A key to winning is maybe watch Turpin in this game. So that's a great bold prediction. I think that. I'm trying to think of. Oh my! Look, will CD get his 10 catches and 150? I'm going to say yeah. Is that a bold prediction? No. But how about Micah gets 3 sacks tomorrow? 3 sacks and forces a couple turnovers too. Whether it's hitting the quarterback, fumbling, hitting the quarterback while he's throwing and it gets picked. Micah relevant. It's going to be all about Micah.
Pressure out the wazoo.
Guys, there's no if Dan Quinn moves him around. And he might keep him at linebacker a little bit too, but if he moves him around and has him blitzing here and there and all over the place, I mean, this offensive line is going to just shit themselves. Overall, the Cowboys, again, Bryce Young, haven't seen enough about him, but he's shifty. He can move a little bit, so we need to contain him in the pocket and then take him downtown Julie Brown. If we do that, there's no chance for him. I think we could get probably 10. And when I say 10, I mean 7 sacks of some sort, let's say 3 turnovers in this game, fumbles or interceptions. So my 10 number, again, I might say something like 5 and 5. Or I don't think we'll get 5 turnovers, but I'm just saying we're going to put up some of these numbers. The only thing that would stop these bold predictions is that we take our guys out in the third quarter. We're up by 30. So again, the bold prediction got to be big on this, right? I think that Pollard gets a big break. I think he gets over 150 yards rushing tomorrow. How's that for Tony Pollard on his own?
Well, hot damn.
Breaks a big one for 70 yards and then, has a couple big runs as well later on. Gets over 150.
Yeah, so basically, because he breaks that big run, he's going to have a hyper-inflated number of yards.
Yeah, he might get 70 yards, 60 yards on a run, and then the rest of the game he gets 90 yards. That's good.
Yeah,
and again,
just from his regular carries and doing what he normally does.
2.5, 3 quarters worth. That's a pretty damn bold prediction, I think. I'll say that.
That's pretty bold, considering the play time there. Yeah. So, now, real quick.
Yeah, finish it up.
Seabass, maybe it is time to change up the profile picture, right? House Nelson, much love. He never missed again. He's going to continue. By the way, I don't think it's a bold prediction to continue to say that he's going to continue to add to that record. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. So, Thomas Garrett throwing out there, I totally concur with my Cowboys wife, and I'm assuming you meant some of that Panthers gap that I talked about there as far as laying the smackdown on them, the reasonings for it, right? So, Jason, that's, we'll have to lay out a little dish of milk for the kitty cats there. So, Panthers. There you go. And by the way, Prince Jackson with his $2 holler said, what's your final score? Because I'm saying 30-10. I think I'm going to stick with what I said before, 32-14. I don't want it to go higher than that, but I think there's a chance they could even get up to 17, depending on, once again, how early we bench our starters. I am not trying to skip ahead of this game, but McCarthy is obviously very much keeping that the 49ers, my goodness, the Commanders game in mind on this upcoming Thanksgiving, so I think that's a background factor. The
GPS, the tracking of work they've done this week, the guys that got a little less work, probably going to get a lot more game time this game. Especially if they just later in the game, and it's backups time. Now,
heck, and not just that, but think of it this way too. Guys like Tyron Smith, he'll be out there as long as Dak is out there. But for the entire health of the O-line and everyone else, there's more than one reason to pull your starters. Yeah,
and I mean offense and defense as well. So, we saw Jordan Lewis last week getting hurt for no fucking reason at the end of that Giants game, right?
One of the last plays of the game, too.
Yeah, and the last drive was insignificant in that sense that the Cowboys want to stop teams from scoring. Look, that's great, but I don't want anybody to get injured.
That's why I said I could see him getting 17.
And that's why I'm going to say no. You know why? I'm going to say no. I think this defense is prideful, and they're going to stop them from doing anything. Listen, their backups are still their starters, and they're going to have their backups in at the end, too. They're not going to have Bryce Young playing that whole game, I don't think, if things are out of hand. What happens is that usually a team like that will just put in their backups, and we have our backups, and we have a preseason game. And what happens there is, number one, even if they have their starters, our backups are just as good as their starters. Our backups are just as good, if not better. So I'm not really worried about the defense allowing so much. It's more, to me, let's just say that it was 0 the whole game or 3 points most of the game. It might be, 6 or 9 points. So I'm going to say, my final prediction for the game is going to be the Panthers 9 points and the Cowboys 49 points. There you go.
Now Stanley Smith said
Blowing it up.
42-13.
There we go.
So
Stanley
he's
knows.
Feeling a little bit more closer to that giant smackdown.
I just said it.
I know.
49. And Stanley was a couple off on that from me, right? A little different there. He had to give him a couple more there, 13, whatever, 12, 13. It's going to be that 9 to 10, 11, 12, 13 range for them at most, I think, even with the backups in for a quarter. And you got our starters in there. I think that we will get, with backups or starters in this game, running or passing on offense. Defense should get some turnovers and some points for us to set us up for points. This game should not be any lower. On offense and defense, scoring points, we should put up 40-plus points in this game. No joke against this Panther team. It's on the road. Let's fix that.
And Jason Renfro said 42-10 Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm right there with them. Listen, here's the thing. Remember what some of the things we want to change? We want to see more Brandon Cooks. We want to see fast starts. We want to see better red zone play. We want to see some of the guys getting used better. One of the main things we got to do in this game, in my opinion, is if we're blowing them, if we are in there and really knock them out of this game, we need to finally fix some of our road issues. On the road, we have had our biggest troubles. Our biggest issues were -6 in points, in point differential in those road games. So we have to find a way to win on the road and win handily, not just sneak out with a victory. So that's the way I'm looking at that there for this game, and that's kind of my bold predictions, the score predictions. Drop yours as we roll out of here, baby, as we get the last comments.
Asmodeus, much love. Saying Memphis in the house. By the way, speaking of house, huge shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us in the house. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. A tip of the hat, of course, to the sponsor of the week and membership king, Jason Renfro.
Hell yeah.
The stream boss, Marco Sepian.
Hey, he's almost fully loaded, 98 points, right?
King.
The
Smith.
The king of the Cash App. Much love to Stanley, who, by the way, is making a run at that spot right now. He is currently 3rd on the overall board and 2nd on the Cash App board. In first place, though, it's the man. You know why he's here.
Snug X.
Yeah, Snug X leading that and leading the overall board currently as we speak. So good luck to him. Tomorrow we will crown the champions here. Snug X trying to take both crowns down. And if you look at the gifting board, yes, Jason Renfro has the win. NDM Bookie in 3rd and then tied for 1st with 2 gifted memberships each, Skeptical Fan and Jason Renfro. So good luck to them. One of them will have to pull out a victory probably tomorrow sometime in the game. Of course, halftime, star level, over everything, membership raffle for that jersey. That's going to be exciting to see who wins that. And appreciate everybody here who's in those levels, or the navy blue and silver too, of course, as well. And let me also shout out those that dropped the love from above tonight. Skeptical Fan in the PayPal side of things, Calvin Richard, Mark Hovsepian rocking the spot, who, by the way, 2nd place on the overall board, closest right now to Snug X in that 1st place spot, and our stream boss 98 points, almost fully loaded for him. We also had Prince Jackson drop some love on that board as well, and Stanley Smith rocking it in the Cash App tonight. So thank you all for your love and support. Any last comments or shout-outs maybe in the chat before we get on out of here?
Of course. Let me see. Kind of touching base here. By the way, Thomas Gary said, I just want a nice, thorough win. Agreed. So,
dominating win is what I want to see, yeah.
Spoonie Dog said, damn, I'm missing the... no, guys, Spoonie Dog. No, we guys are not doing the simulations this year. Like we said...
Yeah,
sorry to break any hearts.
YouTube policies there. They're messing with us if we do a simulation live.
So, but let me go ahead and do the final shout-outs here as I wrap things up. Of course, Spoonie Dog, Fuego, Jason Renfro, Snug X, Mark Hovsepian, a big mahalo. A little coconut oil, right? Let me see. Stanley Smith, much love to you. Prince Jackson, House Nelson in the house. Rolando Rodriguez, take it easy. I know we had a Scorpio in the house. GM, Fuego, Sergio Acosta. Just rolling back here. GM. Who else is here? Retro Scotty, of course. Take it easy. Cactus G in the place to be. GMG254. William Burney, much love. Mike Aldana. Trying to go back. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Lost in translation. Akeem Sears. I think that's as far back as it lets me go. So, yeah, guys, again, a huge and extra special shout out to everyone here, baby.
Hitting that like button and everything. But first, I got to get one more shout out, baby.
Okay.
To the man Stanley Smith. Why? He dropped another. This is for the run game. Tony Pollard, holler right there.
Woo.
Much love to the great Stanley Smith, the Cash App King. And not only that, baby. I mean, of course, he said, go Cowboys. But now he jumped over Mark Hovsepian on the overall board, and he is right close to Mr. Snug X. He is 10 up right now. Up 10 on Mark Hovsepian on this stream ball, on the overall board as we speak. So that's a last-second jump here at the buzzer of this stream tonight. It was supposed to be a quickie. We got lost in our discussions, as we always do around here, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's what the pregame thing does to us, guys. We're ready for this game, even against the shitty Panthers. We're ready. The team must be ready to roll against the Panthers tomorrow. And really, in about, 11 hours, we're kicking off here on My Cowboys Family. So we'll see you back.
Our only 1 o'clock game of the season, if I'm not mistaken, right?
12 noon for the Dallas. Yeah, but no, not the season. A Rams game we were there.
True.
We had a couple of them this year,
about
but
that one. And we only had like 2 or 3 at the most. Like pretty much every other game.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think this is the last one at 1 o'clock this year, or 12 o'clock, the early game. But first, much love to the man Stanley Smith, who's currently making a run at both spots. He's second place on both of those, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. Does he come for the win? We need our Cowboys to come for that win. Will Stanley Smith do the same thing? We shall see. Guys, thank you for rocking with us, dropping your thoughts, your knowledge, and all your Cowboy love here for our team. But, baby, before we can drop out of here for the night, let them know what we got to do here on a Saturday night pregame.
Of course. You got to shout out the navy blue, the silver too, the star over everything.
That's why we do this here. And also, it's no matter what happens, we better win. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we always rep the star here on My Cowboys Family. Here in MCF for 6 years and beyond, 7 years live stream reactions. The camera's on tomorrow. It's on again every single year. 7 seasons in a row and beyond. Thank you for rocking with us here, guys. And never forget, here, now, and forever, as always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge all night long.
All night.
So thank you guys for that. Drop your knowledge all night long. And also the love from above. Best fans of all YouTube. On that note, and as we clock out and drop out and relock and reload for our live stream reaction, watch party, play-by-play style tomorrow. Hopefully whipping up, slaughtering, skinning these Panthers alive. Baby, before we can drop out officially for the night, let them know what we got to do.
We gotta drop the beat.
Oh yeah, beat's been dropped. It's a wrap right here, My Cowboys Family, as we prepare for tomorrow's big game. Less than 11 hours away.
Get PETA on the line.
Yeah, get PETA quick, ASAP. Or the ASAP for the ASPCA, right? Anyways, a lot of letters. Not that commercial. Guys, thank you for here rocking it. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully come back down for another showdown for our Cowboys. Hopefully they understand the Cowboys take it personal when they realize that the Panthers are looking at this game as their Super Bowl. Yeah, they are. Our fans will be there. It'll be loud. It'll be like a home game. We should win it like a home game. Tomorrow I'm ready. You talked about Dak CD connection, the running backs, the question marks, right? For Rico playing. Fajoko's on IR, but we got 32, a linebacker. Mr. Rashaan Evans ready to roll tomorrow. And I know Bryce Young is a little bit nervous as he's overlooking what's coming at him on that defense. Offense put up some points, and let's make this a quickie so we can get ready for the Commanders on Thanksgiving. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the game. Be there or be square. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Follow us on Twitter, all social media at My Cowboys Family. Hell yeah, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you back for the game in about 11 hours. Have a good rest of your night, rest of your weekend. Peace out And never, ever, 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 never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.